Hello YouTube friends, Ben Ochart here. Thank you so much for tuning in. After last week's rant, I'm happy to report that I feel like I am making some progress now. I was able to build out one of these stands. It's for the 55-gallon. And what I'm going to end up doing is putting a couple stands side by side in this area right here. It's going to be two 55s, and then kitty corner here to the side is going to be the large 90-gallon that's being custom made for me. And these stands are from Walmart, believe it or not. And I'm actually very, very happy with the quality of the material and the ease with which they build. I mean, they're easy to put together. They're made in the USA. Everything fits the way it's supposed to fit. And you know, the screw holes all line up, the peg holes line up, and I'm very happy with them. So I'm going to put two 55s side by side right behind me, and this will probably be the view for the live streams. You'll probably be seeing something like this. I might put a backdrop, maybe something with the logo of the channel, maybe something along those lines. The tanks, which you can see behind me here, I'll show them to you. You can see the tanks all right there. Those tanks are all going to get blacked out, and by that what I mean is the back of those tanks is going to get blacked out. I ordered some matte black spray paint, and I'll be masking that off and painting the back with spray paint. Now, if you're indecisive about how you want to present your tank, the background of your tank, you might want to consider getting some of those sheets that you could just cut to fit, and they stick on with moisture. That might be a good way for you to go if you're sort of indecisive, or you think you might want to go blue, dark blue, or maybe even some other color, even black really, and you can peel those on. I like black. I like a black background. I think it makes the fish really pop, and so I'm going to use that Crayon matte black paint. Just a word of caution: be sure that you really mask off not just the area immediate area, but areas like several feet around where you're working, because that spray paint will actually drift, and you'll end up with a fine mist of spray paint, both on the on the sides of the tank and on the floor and things like that. So definitely use that spray paint, ideally outside, and always be moving before you push the button. So start your hand in a motion and then push the button. I'll go ahead and probably do a video of blacking out the back of the tanks, and that way you can see. The fish room continues to be crowded with things that I'm putting away, but I have made some progress, and more boxes, of course, have arrived as my wife continues to order things. Red Skelton, a comedian that predates probably many of you watching this video, used to say, whenever I go out, I hold my wife's hand, because if I let go, she shops. So I thought that was kind of clever. Between the insulation that I put on the garage door and a very small heating unit, and I'll show it to you. This heating unit is amazing. And let me turn the lighting so you can get a good look at it. And it's this unit right here, and it's called Infrared Doctor Heater, and that little unit, that teeny unit, sitting on top of what's going to be the stand for that custom-made tank. That's going to be the stand for it. Right now, it's just serving as a storage area, but that little heater actually is heating up this very tall, very tall garage, is being kept comfortably, nice and comfortable by that little heater. Let me turn the lighting back around here, and now I'm gonna be setting up the tanks in a bit of an unorthodox way. And if you go back through my history of videos, you'll see a video that's called Beneficial Bacteria, Where Is It? Where is it really? I think was the name of the video. I'll put a link, up here and to the video. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with a deep substrate, and then the filtration is going to be strictly for is going to be used for water polishing. In other words, the sand, which is going to be left alone. I'm not going to mess with it. I'm not going to rake it. I'm going to leave it alone. That sand, roughly about 3 inches deep, is going to be the home of beneficial bacteria. Initially, I'm going to jumpstart the bacteria with some of this stuff, Fritz Zyme. I'm going to jumpstart the bacteria with that. I've heard great things about this Fritz product. You can pick it up at Aquarium Depot. I think I also have it at my Amazon store. Anything I show you today is going to be available at my Amazon store. So I'll include the links below. But I have the substrate. The substrate came in. I mentioned it to you last week. This is that Supernaturals. And I've heard people say that they didn't even need to wash it. They just put it in. So I'm going to put about a 3-inch substrate in the tank with a piece of driftwood, and I'm going to throw some South American cichlids in there, and I'm going to use probably one hang-on back, maybe a marine land, maybe an emperor because I'm familiar with that, or maybe pick up something else, maybe a hang-on back, and one of those filters that I picked up from my friends over at Expertmatic. I've got a couple of these Expertmatic filters. So what I'll do is I'll put one of these in each of a hang-on back with some with some floss and some sponges, and then use the deep substrate as the home for the bacteria, and then leave that substrate alone. Just do a very light surface vacuuming where you don't really even make contact. You stay about this far from it, and have a power head working in each tank that is moving the detritus towards the intakes of the filters. And I think that's going to work. I think it's going to work. For those of you who've been in the hobby for a long time, certainly those of you who are into salt water, you know the benefits of using your substrate as the home for the beneficial bacteria. Why? Mostly because you never mess with it. Leave it alone. Your bacteria just continues to grow, and if it's deep enough, you may actually get to a point where an anaerobic bacteria will start to grow and help to reduce nitrates by turning them into a harmless gas. The gas is off. There has been a sort of urban legend in the aquarium world about pockets of gas, sulfur pockets that will kill your fish. And the more research I do on that, the more I realize that it's just an urban legend, and there's no real truth in it. So I'll be using that Caribbean sand, and I also have, of course, as I mentioned in my last video, I have this beautiful stuff here. This is the Eco Complete. This comes wet, and it's full of bacteria. And I've got this one, which is the black and white mix, Eco Complete black and white mix. And you can see the color of it. I think it's going to be really pretty with a black background. So one of the tanks on one side will be a South American where I'll be growing them out. So I'll probably put some. I'd like to put maybe some small viejas in there, maybe some geophagus, maybe a Jack Dempsey, a chocolate cichlid, if I can find one, some red severums, fish like that. small guys, and then grow them out. And then in the other tank, I want to pick up some African cichlids. You know I love African cichlids. I'm not going to not have those. So I'm thinking maybe a flame tail, pick up one of those, I think it's called a phoenix, something like that from my friend over at the Cichlid Shack from James. He's got a couple. He also has a beautiful OB that he's line bred to accentuate certain colors. So there's a few fish that he had. I also want to get a Autopharynx tetrastigma, one of my favorite fish of all time. I want to go ahead and get one of those, add it to the collection. So there's several fish, several peacocks, several of the more docile haps, maybe a Z-rock, beautiful fish, very, very calm, very peaceful in the haps, among the haps. So I'll have a side-by-side grow out situation, and then I'll have the 90, which I'll probably either put discus and plants in it, or I'll go ahead and use it as the grow out for, like where the fish would graduate to once they're too big for the 55, which might happen very, very quickly. I'm not exactly sure how fast those South Americans will grow. The peacocks could probably stay in the 55, for quite some time, and for a couple years really. The South Americans, especially like the Dempsey, the chocolate, certainly the viejas, I mean, they're going to need to go to somewhere bigger. So I'm going to just start developing tanks behind me and then curving out, and probably maybe even coming down this side on this side. So maybe put some 125s, maybe some 220s, and I'd like to do something like that and get that going as well. In building out the tanks, it became very apparent in building the stand. It became very apparent that that the floor in this garage, for drainage purposes, is actually slightly unlevel. It goes down towards the front of the garage, and so you can pick these up. These are Shims, Nelson wood shims. Nelson wood shims. Pick up some of these, and using these and using these on a trusty little level, you can actually, check it out this way, check it out this way, check it out that way, until that bubble is exactly where it's supposed to be, and then use these shims to level the stand, so your aquarium sits perfect and doesn't put any unusual stress on any one of the seals or the seams, right? I mean, if your tank is slightly tilted, you're going to have more pressure on the seams on this side, and there's a chance you may have a failure. The seams might actually start to fail over time. So that's pretty much the update. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and build another one of these stands. And if you want to watch, hang in there, and I'll go ahead and do it. And I'll fast forward it so that you can just catch the important parts of it. You'll see how simple these stands are to build from Walmart, and I'll show you up close the. I love the texture of it. I love the texture of the stand. Everything assembled and went in place perfectly the way it was supposed to go, and snaps shut perfectly. It looks good. It's a good looking stand. If you can see it, I'm kind of going blind here, but not a bad looking stand. Perfect width for a 55 gallon. So that's it for me. That's it for now. And sorry about all the crazy camera angles. Had to make do. And I'll go ahead and build one of these, and I'll put it on fast forward, and you can go ahead and, or in time lapse rather, not fast forward. I'll go ahead and build another one of these in a time lapse so you can see very quickly how easy they are to put together. And again, it's from Walmart, and the price wasn't too bad. I think it's like $100 or 100 and change for each of them, which when you look at stands out there, what they sell for is like, it's nothing. It's like a steal. So let's go ahead and build another one. And there you go. Be sure to hit the bell and hit that sub if you haven't already. I think about 20-something% of you, 28% of you that watch the videos are subscribed. Go ahead and hit that sub button. And hopefully by the middle of January, we'll be back to offering the Cichlids and coffee live stream. We can keep the name Cichlids because I'm going to be in Cichlids primarily to start off with. All right, so there you have it. Let's build a stand